Greetings everyone and welcome to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show. This is a show that is mostly dedicated to progressive rock, but other forms of rock music as well. So today we're back with our series, or my series, of my favorite albums from the year 1975. Coming in today, day 21, February the 21st, album number 21, Supertramp's Crisis, What Crisis? Sorry, I'm getting a frog all of a sudden. Anyways, now I'm getting a notice from Norton. Anyways, this album was released November the 29th, 1975. Produced at A&M Studios in Hollywood, Rampart Studios in London, and Scorpio Sound Studios in London as well. A fairly lengthy album, especially for that time period. It's like 47 minutes. That's quite a bit higher than the normal. Probably pushed the boundaries of the vinyl in that time period. A&M Records, of course, and Ken Scott and Supertramp production. Production on here is pretty good, pretty solid. Sound is pretty clear. It's not one of the best albums, but it's not bad. It passes fairly easily, I think. It's got a fair number of things on it that need to be noted. For those of you who like the list of musicians to be handed to you, I will do that as well. Roger Hodgson, vocals, guitars, and keyboards. Bob C. Benberg, drums and percussion. Dougie Thompson on bass. John Anthony Helliwell on wind instruments and vocals. Me and saxophone. And Richard Davies, or Ricky Davies, on vocals and keyboards as well. So the overall feel of this album is, I don't think of it as a commercial album. It does have some commercial aspects to it. There's a couple songs on here that were a bit radio friendly, but overall I just think of this as a really solid kind of poppy with some progressive elements, and you got some jazzy type piano and saxophone on here. You've got some blues sound to it with the sax as well, adding to that. And Davies' voice is very bluesy sounding, where Roger Hodgson is a much higher range and a much kind of more poppy sound to his voice. So they kind of complement each other, I think. But they're very different. Their two voices and their two musical tastes are very different. It's actually kind of amazing that they were able to work together so long to produce so much great stuff. But, sometimes that's what happens. People are able to mesh different styles and turn into something that's pretty fantastic. And that's what's happened here. So I just wanted to talk a bit about this album cover too. I love this album cover. You got this guy in his beach shorts, tanning on a recliner. He's got a umbrella. He's got a table with a drink on it, and he has it looks like a cassette player or a boombox on the ground beside him, and he's got this mat laid out, and all the area around him is a wasteland, and they got all this factory housing and factories in the back. It's like a total moon eclipse type moon landscape eclipse, and he's just sitting there like nothing's going on. So it's a good title, Crisis, What Crisis? Like he's unaware of everything, That's somebody living in their own world. Anyways, I always like that album cover. This album is kind of reminds me a bit of. Sorry, let's try to get out here. Make sure it doesn't, because I don't want it busted. Yeah, there you go. Anyways, I just played it, so it's not wanting to stay inside. It wants to come back out and get played some more, I guess. There we go. Now we're good. Anyways, the album kind of reminds me. I always think of this album as being very similar to Caress of Steel from Rush. Not that they sound anything alike. I don't think they do. It's just that they're both fly under the radar. The only people that really, truly ever appreciate albums like this one and that one are the people who really like these bands and go that extra mile to listen to these albums that maybe aren't so listener friendly, if you like, or radio friendly, if you like. But Nevertheless, for those of you who enjoy the band, you know how good this is. This is a fantastic album with a lot of really solid music on it. I'm just going to get my glasses back on because I want to go over some of the tracks just a bit. So probably my favorite is still Sister Moonshine. I still like that song a lot. Roger Hodgson nails it vocally. It's fantastic. It's real catchy, and it has that real Supertramp sound to it. Some of the other songs I like is Easy Does It, another great kind of poppy song, and Lady, that's the other kind of poppy song I like. But then you get out songs like The Meaning, Poor Boy, and Just a Normal Day. All these songs are really, really good, deep cut classics on this album. The piano was really good. I've always enjoyed Ricky Davis's piano playing. I think he adds a style to this music that you can't find with a lot of pop bands, and it's really hard to nail down their sound on some tracks, or like their overall. There's a bit of a jazzy feel to it and some bluesy feel to it. I think Helliwell's saxophone playing on this album lends to both. Like, he has some jazzy bits in it, but he also like really knows how to pull that blues saxophone out and just nail it every time. He's just so good at it. Very underrated musician, if you ask me. Then you have like Ain't Nobody But Me, another really good track along that same line. And then Two of Us, which as the ending track, I think perfectly ends it. It kind of is a mellow song, kind of takes the album out. And just a really, really solid Supertramp album. It comes from that era that is in between Christ is What Christ is, Crime of the Century and Breakfast in America. Those 4 albums that came out in that period of time, all really, really good albums. I enjoy them all, and I don't really play favorites with them either. I used to play some discographies. I play a little bit more favorites with some albums, but this one gets its regular pull out as all the other ones do. The one that maybe doesn't get as much of a pull out is Even in the Quietest Moments, even though I like it quite a bit, just because of that title song always makes me cry and I don't feel like being sad, so I don't listen to it as much as I used to. Anyways, this is a fantastic album. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. It's much appreciated. If you got any comments or any thoughts on the album, I would appreciate it. There may be things that I didn't point out that probably need to be pointed out. But still, great album. Will come out tomorrow morning on day 21. And we'll be back again the following day with another album on my favorite albums from 1975. So you have yourself a good day, a good evening. Take care. Bye.